Out of the 3 announced DLC factions for the next DLC, the Ogres are probably the ones that absolutely need it the most in terms of their campaign mechanics. Their roster, while it doesn't feel great, is surprisingly complete and functional. Oh, my cat didn't like that, apparently. But definitely has some holes that could be filled out and some missing units. We'll talk a little bit about that today. I'm not the best in terms of the lore in the tabletop, so I'm probably not the best to name all the missing units. Definitely been missing some stuff, but just from more of a tactical standpoint, talking about what they could bring here. This replay, I believe it's from Sage as well. He's got some Iron Blasters, maybe not, we'll see in the end screen. Some Noblars, second line of Noblar Trappers. Saber Tusk pack, we've got some Ogre Bowls, Iron Fist, couple of them. And yeah, the Mournfangs also with Iron Fist out on the flanks, facing off against the Empire, so definitely a tough matchup. Expect a lot of Spears and Huntsmen, which we do see, a Huntsman General as well, and some Pistoliers here on the side, Empire Knights on the other side, Black Lions War Wagon, and a Engineer as well. Looks like the Empire player might have forgot to take Caster. Definitely happens to the best of us, happens to me on occasion. But anyway, potentially a tough matchup for the Ogres. One thing they could add is more Man-Eater variants, and there's a certain lord that's associated with the Man-Eaters who I'm going to be calling Goldfang on my channel because his actual name will instantly get my videos demonetized, so be prepared for comments telling me I'm mispronouncing it every single time, and that's absolutely intentional because his actual name is a certain, turn of phrase that if I say on YouTube, they're not going to like that. So we do see here the mobile firepower of the Empire prevailing over the Iron Blasters, as once upon a time, the Iron Blasters were quite OP, but these days, Black Lions out at their extreme distance actually trading just fine, pushing back those Iron Blasters despite that Toothcracker, extra missile resistance and whatnot. Still doesn't help much as they just take massive amounts of damage. Saber Tusk pack moving up, and the Noblars. Noblars is also one area of the roster where they could pad things out. There's been some supplements of, what was it, White Dwarf magazine or something else. Added a bunch of Noblar units. Kind of fill out the bottom of their roster a little bit, give them more variety of chaff to take. Man-Eaters, of course, as well. Particularly, there's an ambush variant of Man-Eater that's essentially like a ninja Man-Eater, essentially, for lack of a better term. They could be a very interesting add, and giving Ogres a little bit more, Vanguard ambush potential, and some heavy units at that. See the Iron Blaster land a nice shot there. It does actually take out a single unit model of the Black Lions there, so it does lessen their DPS significantly. Huntsman also kind of set up in a defensive position here, but yeah, the Hell Blasters had been focused on the Iron Blaster, having a blast off here, but do switch their targeting priority onto the Iron Fist. I'm not sure. I think this is actually a little bit of a mistake. The Huntsman kind of focus fire here as well. I think probably the better target to focus is the Iron Fist. The Knights of the Blazing Sun. Yeah, these are actually all Knights of the Blazing Sun, not Empire Knights. I have no problem pushing back Bulls, especially in an open field charge. The Iron Fists, on the other hand, are going to be quite dangerous in melee engagement against them, so you could also try and focus on actually finishing those Iron Blasters with the Hell Blaster. Had gotten some good damage in, but now, again, with that target priority switch, going to have a little bit of a tougher time. Bullgorger there means that Knights of the Blazing Sun going to have a really bad time. This other one, Mournfang does get through onto the War Wagons, so even if they're countercharged here, which they do get countercharged significantly, still get some good damage on the War Wagons. Yeah, almost enough to actually finish them off completely, do massive HP damage, enough that the Iron Blaster should have no problem trading into that now. Definitely kind of flips the initiative of the engagement, so to speak. Pistoliers kind of hanging around. Unfortunately, Pistoliers, still my favorite skirmish cavalry in my heart, aren't actually that good these days just due to their limited ammunition count. They actually have a hard time paying for themselves, which is a little bit sad. Not that Empire needs more buffs, but it would be nice to see Pistoliers get a little extra something. But Engineer, certainly going to be putting out some nice DPS. Shooting into the Mournfangs there as they finish off those Knights of the Blazing Sun. A very cost-effective trade for the Mournfangs, essentially trading straight across in terms of value, but winning decisively. Slaughtermaster also doing a nice job through this mid-game here. Ogres starting to take the lead as the Empire has some leadership issues. That said, they still were able to defeat one unit of Mournfang cavalry. He'll still have plenty of spear infantry left supporting. And yeah, the Iron Blasters, unfortunately, do have plenty of ammunition left as well, but right now interrupted in terms of their firing arc for some strange reason, even though they pretty much have an open hard to shoot at. I guess they care a lot about those poor Noblar's lives. Seems a little out of character, but there you go. Knights of the Blazing Sun, though, losing out significantly. Huntsman trying to rally here. And, I mean, it's mostly Noblars in the local area, so they do actually have a chance to rally somewhat, but other than the Mournfangs, I guess this is the one Noblar unit close by. Looks like those Bulls might rally as well, and the Slaughtermaster himself just brutally smashing into the Huntsman here, dealing some vengeance for all of Ogre kind. One unit that gives Ogres the most problems by far. Yeah, the Engineer here firing in as well. Empire trying their best to hold out. A few Knights of the Blazing Sun do survive. The Iron Blasters having significant line of sight issues continuously, but some Mournfang cavalry there in the back line to protect. Managed to catch those Spearmen in an open charge, shut them down. Yeah, looks like the Huntsman here firing in close range. This is a situation where the Iron Fists come in big handy, just helping to block as many of those shots as possible, even though they still do end up losing out. Unimodel there managed to make contact on the charge at the very least. Although Knights Blazing Sun on a quick countercharge there should be able to rout them. We'll see. Does look like we got Bulls and Noblars also in a follow-up, so maybe not. Maybe the Knights of Blazing Sun, well, certainly will end up losing, but do still rout the Mournfangs for a glorious trade there. Bullgorger on the Slaughtermaster himself, pops some extra ingredients, gets some more power reserves, and wins a magic and everything. Yeah, the Engineer continuing to fire in. I don't know if he's really paid for himself. I mean, not super expensive, but he's not crazy cheap either. I don't know. I guess really just relying on the ammo refill of the Black Lines to be effective here, but Ogres are certainly a fast enough faction, aggressive enough faction that, oh, yeah, all the war wagons being destroyed there by the Iron Blasters ultimately in the long game shootout. So, yeah, Master Engineer I think can be good in certain builds. I don't totally hate the pick, almost as like a single entity skirmish cavalry, right? But I don't know. Practice here, I don't think he was worth it in the long run. I think he would have been better maybe to just have some more melee assets, maybe upgrade some of those spears to halberds, or even just take a traditional cannon. Can go a long way. It's probably better than the Engineer, just because it's going to be having a little bit of a different impact on the battle, granted, but still. That being said, it can be tricky to try and micro, multiple different artillery groupings, especially when you got the one war wagon, fast artillery speed, and relatively slow. It's just said Ogres are a fast and aggressive, relatively mobile faction, right? So it can be tricky to defend cannons against them, but I don't know. Engineer has certainly been able to stay alive for a long time, but how has the value been? That is the question. Yeah, looks like the Empire hits army losses there, and going to be a victory for Sage's Ogres. I got it right. There you go. And the Iron Blasters, despite facing some early adversity, managed to come back, get some good value. Mournfang Iron Fists also just trade beautifully in this matchup. Actually coming around quite a bit too, Mournfangs in this matchup, just because they do trade well against pretty much all Empire cavalry. They also, can take Iron Fists, which gives them a sizable missile block chance and extra armor, all of which applies very much against the Huntsman. Still able to pay for themselves here for the most part. Well, at least two of them. Pistoliers less so. Yeah, that makes me a little bit sad, but not really. I don't know. You can take them for fun these days, but not the best units in the world. Yeah, the Black Lines end up paying for themselves. Hard to argue there. Obviously, would have been nice to have some kind of caster, especially like Net from Lord of Light, Net of Amantok, or just anything really. A little bit of Spirit Leech or something, some other kind of cost-effective DPS. But overall, fun one for sure. Yeah, the Ogres, I guess I didn't really talk too much about what they could add, but ultimately, the Man-Eaters, the new Lord, yeah, there's a few single entity monsters like the Yeti they could add that would add some more variety, because ultimately, Ogres right now, you really only got the two monsters in terms of variety, right? Which a lot of people don't even remember that they have the Giant. It's actually a pretty effective tool in certain matchups, given how cheap and strong it is in terms of its weapon strength. Stonehorns are great due to their missile resistance and overall survivability into a lot of different situations, but then you've really just got those two, so the Yeti will add another kind of wrinkle to that monstrous equation. And beyond that, I'm sure some other people will leave some suggestions down in the comments below, so be sure to leave your favorite Ogre unit that is not currently in the game that should be added. A couple Floors of magic as well, like Heavens and Death, I believe, should be available for Ogres. That will likely be added in the DLC. What else would you like to see get added? Leave your thoughts below. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.